Harshad Mehta migrated to Mumbai with only rupees 40 in his pocket, still managed to influence the country in such a massive way. Once he discovered his interest in the stock market, he worked for broker Prasan Panjeevan Das in the 1980s and considered him as his guru. Over the next decade, he went on to work for several brokerage firms, eventually opening up his own brokerage under the name Growmore Research and Asset Management. By the 1990s, Mr. Mehta had risen to such prominence in the stock market that he was known as the Amitabh Bachchan of stock market. Terms such as the Big Bull and Raging Bull were regularly used in reference to him. Over the time, he became particularly known for his wealth in the 1990s, which he did not shy away from boasting about through his 15,000 square feet penthouse and array of cars. He was described by journalist Sucheta Dalal as charismatic, ebullient, and recklessly ambitious. Perhaps it was this recklessness that led to his downfall through his ambitious schemes. Harshad Mehta used to broker the ready forward deals between banks. He managed to convince the banks to have checks drawn in his name. He would then manage to transfer the money deposited into his account into the stock markets. However, Mehta took advantage of this broken system and took the scam into new levels. In a normal ready forward deal, there would be only two banks involved. Securities would be taken from a bank in exchange for cash. What Harshad Mehta did here was that when a bank would request its securities or cash back, he would rope in a third bank, and eventually a fourth, and so on. Instead of having just two banks involved, there were now multiple banks all connected by a web of RF deals. He would use this money from the banks, which was temporarily in his account, to hike up the demands of certain shares. He selected well-established companies like ACC, Sterlite Industries, and Videocon. His investments, along with the market reaction, would result in these shares being exclusively traded. The price of ACC rose from rupees 200 to nearly rupees 9,000 in only a span of 2 months. Harshad Mehta noticed early on the dependence of the RF deals on bank receipts. In addition to this, the RF deal system also placed a great deal of reliance on prominent brokers like Harshad Mehta. So he, along with two other banks, namely Bank of Karad and the Metropolitan Cooperative Bank, decided to further exploit this system. With the help of these two banks, he was able to forge bank receipts. The bank receipts that were forged were not backed up by any securities. What this meant was that they were just pieces of paper with no real value at all. This is similar to a situation where you can avail loans with no collateral. Harshad Mehta would further pump this money into the stock market, increasing his amount of influence. Less than 2 months after the scam was exposed, the stock market had already lost ₹1 trillion. The RBI created a committee to investigate the matter. As per the committee report, the scam was of the magnitude of rupees 4,000 crores. This impact on the stock market was huge, considering that the scam amounted to only 4,000 crores in comparison to $1 trillion or 1 lakh crores. This major fall, however, cannot be attributed to the scam alone but also to the government's harsh response to it. This scandal exposed the loopholes in the Indian banking system as well as the Bombay Stock Exchange transaction system. This also consequently led to SEBI introducing new rules to cover these loopholes.
The first question we come across is, what is market failure? Market failure occurs when individuals acting in rational self-interest produce a less than optimal or economically inefficient outcome. This is exactly what Harshad Mehta had done in the 1992 scam. He had acted in rational self-interest, which led to crashing of the stock markets, and a lot of people lost their lives' hard-earned money. There are different types of market failures that can occur. They are misallocation of resources, monopoly, externalities, and information asymmetry. However, the market failure that has predominantly occurred here is the misallocation of resources and information asymmetry. Misallocation of resources occurs when the sellers are at an advantage over the buyers due to the anonymity and can easily misallocate resources. Harshad Mehta took advantage of the loopholes in the banking sector, as financial markets were quite unorganized in those times. He made use of this information asymmetry in the market and misallocated the resources given by banks in the form of government securities, bonds, and bank receipts for short-term loans. Excessive misallocation of these resources and the banks, SEBI, and RBI not having any information about it, which resulted in information asymmetry, is what led to the market failure after this. After the scam, the existing institutions, which are the RBI and the SEBI, were given more powers, whereas there were new institutions also created to strictly regulate transactions in the banks, stock markets, and foreign investment. SEBI has emerged as the strongest regulatory body after the SEBI Amendment Act of 2002. The RBI is also given a lot of more regulatory power over the banks, and it made a lot of policy changes. The civil court's jurisdiction over the SEBI is also done away with, thus making it independent and giving it more power to regulate the banks, investors, and stock markets. Various acts like the Securities Laws Amendment Act of 1995 and the Securities Laws Amendment Act of 2004 are also existing institutions. Regulatory guidelines on venture funds, company disclosures are institutions which help in maintaining the efficiency and transparency in the markets. In the end, Investor Protection Fund is also created, which also acts as an institution to meet the legitimate new investment claims.
The institutions already existing and created in order to curb the market failure created due to the Harshad Mehta scam are definitely sufficient to correct the market failure caused. Market failures can be solved using private market solutions and government-imposed solutions, which are both being used in this case. SEBI and RBI have strict regulatory control over the banks, investment, stock markets, which provide for private market solutions, whereas the Investor Protection Fund, created to meet the legitimate investment claims, listing of agreement, Securities Laws Act 1995, regulatory guidelines on venture funds, foreign institutional investors, and company disclosures are way better placed today to maintain transparency and efficiency. Adding on to these, Security Laws Amendment Act 2004 and SEBI Amendment Act 2002 also give more power to these regulatory bodies in order to maintain the transparency and efficiency. Considering that all these steps required in order to correct these market failures by the way of giving more powers to the regulatory bodies and creating and amending new and old legislations to impose strict rules to stop such scams from happening again are taken, we can see that these institutions are sufficient enough. There are no such suggestions required in order to improve the situation, as the government and regulatory bodies are taking sufficient steps to control such situations arising and to prevent them from arising again. Only having complete control, transparency, and regulations can help in improving such situations which are evidently existing now.
In conclusion, every such event that leads to a market failure acts as a catalyst in the policy changes, law reforms, and strengthening of rules and regulations. And that is what we saw happening in the markets after the Harshad Mehta scam and the Ketan Parikh scam, which have now made the markets stronger, efficient, and transparent places for transactions, and also given us institutions much more stronger in order to regulate and control the markets.